guys, welcome back to another video or an audio if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts. It's the same thing. It's my name. It's Zees Method. So if you like to hear audios instead, or if you're going on a walk and you want to listen, then it's up there for you on Apple Podcasts. But today is such a beautiful day, and though climate change is so real, because right now where I'm at, it's supposed to be snowing and icy, but the sun is out, there's no snow on the ground, and it's pretty much warm for February. I'm so happy, and I haven't been happy in weeks, and I think I expressed this in another audio, but lately, I just haven't been happy, and I've been praying about it, and honestly, I haven't touched my physical Bible in weeks. I've really just been doing Bible plans on the Bible app or watching Bible sermons, but I really did not touch my physical Bible, because if we can be real with ourselves, we get to that point sometimes where we're just I really can't push myself right now to speak to God. I really can't push myself right now to believe that this word is giving me encouragement, and I don't want to do things in vain. So I don't want to sit up here and read the word of God just for the sake of reading it. When I read it, I actually want to read it with the sake and with the intention of learning something, or not just hearing it, but also being able to put the word of God into practice. And understand that being a doer of the word doesn't mean that you read the word and then automatically you're just this perfect person. It's something that takes time, and it's something that takes patience, and it's something that you need to constantly put into practice. But yeah, today has just been such a happy day for me, and I haven't had a day like this in so long, and I haven't laughed in so long, I haven't been confident in so long. And long story short, this is my last semester of high school, so I literally only have 4 more months till I graduate, and I'm so excited and so happy to bring everybody who's listening, everybody who subscribes, whatever the case may be. Maybe you're just an onlooker, but I'm so excited to let people in on my journey and, showcase a part of me that I've kept hidden for so long. And I do definitely struggle with vulnerability. And so this has just been a visual and kind of audio diary of my whole life, and the hard times and the good times. And I definitely lean to God for the bad times, but we also have to remember to lean to Him during the better days. And so I was talking to a trusted teacher today about how I just feel outcasted. I don't feel like I fit in. My whole high school career hasn't been the best 4 years of my life, and I feel like there's so much pressure on students to make it the best 4 years of your life, when in reality, there are so many factors that are out of our control that can contribute to this just really not being the best 4 years of our lives. And God has already promised me that university will be the best 6 years of my life, or just the better half of my life for sure. But I find myself sometimes wanting to just kind of rewind and go back and make all those memories that I feel like I missed out on, or I feel like I didn't do. And the last thing that I want to do is leave a season or leave a place with regret. You are leaving offended if you don't leave a place in peace. Everything that you should do that comes to an end, and if it's in God's will, you should leave that place in peace, right? Not everything's going to be the most joyous thing, but there should be a peace within you that, I'm leaving this place and I'm moving on to the next, and I'm okay with that. And so I said, I don't want to leave this place with hostility. I don't want to leave this place with resentment, but I just feel like being saved at such a young age, I can't relate to anybody. And it's not even just that. I'm genuinely nice to people. I'm not one of those who you just walk up to and I'm just super in your face about the Bible. I love personal connection, and so I love gradually getting into things, because I know how overwhelming it might feel, to be friends with somebody who's sanctified, or be friends with somebody who is very devout to their faith, and feel a pressure to be perfect around them. I feel a pressure to not do things because you don't want to get judged. But I'm just not one of those people. I'm very graceful with other people, and I understand that maybe I might be more mature, but we're still teens and we're still kind of figuring ourselves out. And the Bible in the book of Ecclesiastes talks a lot about youth and youthful desires, and it talks a lot about enjoying your youth. And I'm not saying go out and sin, I'm just saying it talks a lot about how this time specifically, a lot of us are still figuring things out, so there's not such a huge, like, hearty expectance on us, because you're figuring out who you are, you're figuring out your identity, you're figuring out so many things, while still being under supervision of your parents. But I was talking to this counselor about how it's just really hard for me to just integrate, and I feel like, who is going to clap for me? Who is going to, who am I going to leave here with? And I remember she told me, people are intimidated by your authenticity, by your confidence. And I remember telling her, like, I am not confident at all, especially not in school. So how are people intimidated by something I don't have? And she said, no matter what you try to call it, no matter what way you try to put it, you are confident. And if you don't see it in yourself, other people see it in you, and they're intimidated by that. And some people don't feel worthy enough to be your friend. It's not that they don't want to be your friend. They don't feel worthy enough to be your friend because you're so good at moving independently. You're so good at just being to yourself. People don't have anything on you. There's no social media. There's no person that can go up and be like, she did this to me. Like, people don't have anything on you. And so it's intimidating to be around people like that, right? Because people kind of do their background research on, especially in high school, people will do their background research on you before they get to talk to you, right? If you guys have the same enemies, then you're friends. If you guys like the same people, then you're friends. If you guys dated the same person, then you're not friends. Like, people figure all this stuff out, but what happens when you're around somebody and you have nothing on them? And so I think that just really changed my perspective, and it reminded me of how if we don't know our identity and if we don't step in who we fully were created to be, the devil will give us a new identity. And it just reminded me of how she represented God to me in that moment. And other people represented the devil to me. And God used that analogy that, he talks about us in this way. He says we're mature. He loves us. He delights in us. We're refreshing. We're unlike no other, right? And he affirms us in these ways. But then we are so blinded to who we really are through Christ that the devil can see everything that we are. The devil can see that we're prosperous, that we're going to be making a huge impact in life. He sees that stuff, right? And so darkness has to keep its distance, but darkness won't keep its distance if we don't recognize that within ourselves too. Like, she really told me, like, you're worthy, and I'm like, am I? And you're a king's kid, you're God's daughter. Like, what do you mean, am I worthy? Like, only worthy people are in God's presence. God makes the unworthy worthy, right? And so are you questioning God's ability to sanctify you? So I think it's just really important that we know who we are. And you know what? It's okay if you fall off, because sometimes we forget who we are, or sometimes we're still kind of redefining or figuring out what it means to be us. But throughout that journey, I just encourage you to hold your head up high. Something I noticed, and I saw a TikTok on this, was, why are you always walking in a room with your head down? Why are you always pretending to be on your phone when things get awkward? Like, when you're not looking up, when you're not opening up yourself to opportunities, they run away from you. If I have my head buried in my phone, people are not going to be more open to talking to me. If I have my head up and I'm just looking around, people will come up to me and speak to me, right? And so we have to also understand the part that we play in our own suffering. So I hope this was, a reminder, just helpful to somebody, that we need to know our identity, especially when we're making huge transitions like this, whether you're transitioning from university to the workforce or working to retirement or wherever you might be. Like, it is so important to know who you are, because if we don't know who we are, the world will give us a crazy label, and it will be very hard to take that label off of ourselves. So do the work, take accountability for the part that you play in your own suffering, and understand that in order for us to truly be free, we need to know who we are.